Hi, I'm Kim. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make plant-based lasagna. We're going to start with a ricotta cheese filling. I want to tell you, and I mentioned this in my last recipe, that you really want to have a food processor, a really good food processor with sharp blades. We're going to start with tofu. I tend to buy organic tofu and firm tofu, and buy it as fresh as you can. You're going to start with the tofu and open it up. They put tofu in water, so as you open it up, the water's going to pop out, and I cut it a little bit so I can take chunks out of it. Be pretty firm, so you should be able to get those chunks out. And put it in your food processor. Your ricotta cheese, or your tofu, is going to act like ricotta cheese. It's going to taste like ricotta cheese, and you're going to doctor it up so that it has a lot of flavoring to it. I've already chopped up a little bit of garlic, and I'm going to put about half of this garlic in. If you like garlic, you can put all of it in. It's probably 6 or 7 cloves there, so I think I added about 2 or 3 cloves. And put your tofu in and your garlic, and turn on your processor for about a minute. I like a little bit of heat in my ricotta cheese. So I'm going to add some jalapenos. I've already pre-chopped the jalapenos without the seeds. Make sure you don't use the seeds, or it might be a lot hotter than you think. Put a teaspoon or so of jalapeno in there. Another thing I really like in my ricotta cheese is fresh basil. So you might want to throw a few leaves, wash your leaves really thoroughly. Put some basil leaves in there. And I call this spinach lasagna because I add a lot of spinach, and as you can see, I've washed up a lot of spinach. And I'm going to add all my spinach to my tofu. I'm going to start blending up my basil. Just get that mixed in really well. Turn it on for 30 seconds. You're going to have to add your spinach slowly, because if you try to stuff it all in your food processor, it's not going to process. So start out with just a little bit, just top back on. Get it to pull down into the tofu. That's perfect. Your tofu is going to start to turn a little bit green, which means you've got lots of vegetables and antioxidants in there. Pulling some more in there. Basically, I buy a package of spinach at the grocery store, and I plan on using that whole package for the lasagna. And the cheese part of my lasagna looks like green mixture. As you can see, it's just getting greener and greener. And then you want to add a little bit of salt to about a teaspoon of salt in there. You can put things like nutmeg. I know some people put nutmeg in their lasagna, and that'll give it a little more flavor too, kind of a nutty flavor. Mix it up. What's nice about making your own lasagna is you know how much salt goes in. If you want to put no salt in, you can. I have a mother-in-law who doesn't like salt. You can gauge what you want in terms of salt. So you don't have to put salt in. You can put a teaspoon in, whatever. Take it off, and it's ready to go. So once I have my main ingredients, my tofu, mock ricotta cheese with spinach in it, my sauce, and you can make the sauce any way you like. If you want to buy canned sauce, or you want to make your sauce in a crock pot and add your own seasonings, you can do that. And then in my prior video, we made some cheese, so I'm going to use this mock cheese in my lasagna. And then I'm going to use rice lasagna. I recommend brown rice lasagna. I start out by putting a layer of red sauce in my lasagna, and I don't cook my noodles. I start out with raw noodles, which makes this a really quick pan of lasagna. I started doing this kind of lasagna when the kids were in preschool. I had three small children. They're teenagers now, but many times I was in a hurry and I didn't have time to cook everything and saute everything, so I just threw it in there and put it in the pan and baked it, and it works. And then, so you put your sauce layer in, and then I start out with my noodles. I usually do 3 right across, and then kind of piece it in like a puzzle. And then you want to add your mock ricotta cheese. You can put other things in your lasagna, and let me give you some ideas. One thing that I have done is I've used mushrooms. I cut up fresh mushrooms, or I cut up zucchini, whatever's in season. If you really like meat or veggie sausage, you can buy it. I urge you to try to stay away from a lot of processed foods. But you can, at this point, you can put anything on top of your ricotta cheese that you like. I'm just going to make this real simple because we're going to have some extra vegetables, and I don't feel like I need to add anything more to this. I put some Italian seasoning in this, and then I'm going to take my cheese that we made earlier. I'm going to drizzle it over the top. This is such a quick recipe if you're in a hurry. About the most time-consuming part of this recipe is making your tofu. And sprinkle it on there. If you want more cheese, you can have more or less. And then I'm going to add some more sauce to it. It's my kid's favorite recipe, and it's my favorite recipe because it's quick. You have to cook it a little longer because your lasagna is not pre-cooked. That's okay though. You just turn the oven on and walk away. And then you add another layer of lasagna. Piece it together like a puzzle. Put your tofu on it. And by the way, I tried this and in between, turned off the camera, and I tried it a little bit. It's got a nice kick to it because I put the jalapeno in it. And you really can add anything you like to this ricotta. I just think that the hard part about cooking is the creative part. You can add anything you want to your food. Your family likes garlic, so you add 10 cloves of garlic. Your family likes cheese, you maybe put a little more cheese on it. Adapt it to what your needs are. If you don't like spinach, then don't put the spinach in the tofu. You can just whip it up and it will be white. Although, I don't think you can taste the spinach too much. And spinach is so good for you. It's got lots of iron and calcium in it. And then put your sauce on top of it. I have a family member who makes this with broccoli. Instead of using spinach, she likes to use broccoli and shredded carrots, which that works well too. Put your lasagna back. I do 3 layers roughly. And that 1 cake of tofu gives you about enough for 3 layers. If you're going to do more than 3 layers, you need to use 2 cakes of tofu. Get it all in there. They have some really nice vegan products on the market too. They have vegan Parmesan cheese, which is really nice. Spread this around real well. Sprinkle your cheese over the top. And some sauce. And this is your last layer of sauce. And you're going to put this in the oven at about 350 and cook it for an hour. If you use rice noodles, you cook it for less time. If you use wheat noodles, you might need a little more time. You can stick a knife through it and kind of tell how long it's going to take to cook. There. And that's your vegan spinach lasagna. Hope you. Okay, our lasagna has been cooking for about an hour and 15 minutes. What I like to do is really hot. I just took the tin foil off the top. What I like to do is let it sit for about a half an hour to cool and to set so it's not so runny. But this is our finished product, and it makes a really nice dinner with a tossed salad and maybe some whole grain garlic bread. Enjoy. Come back again soon.